Welcome to the channel. Welcome to part 3 of the shock therapy upgrade project. So quick recap, I don't want to waste too much of time. I want to get right into this, but part 1, we took the shocks off. We sent them into shock therapy. Part 2, we got the shocks back, put them back on the car, did some light testing, and now here we are, part 3. We are going to hit these whoops that you see behind me, and then we're going to put the frames side by side. Okay, it is review time, and I've actually been really looking forward to this day. It's kind of been like a kid on Christmas. Really just looking forward to getting out and seeing what these things can do. Just a quick disclaimer here. I don't want anybody to think that everything that we're about to say is fake in some kind of way. We're consumers. Shock Therapy did not reach out to us and ask us to make this video. This is just our honest opinion. You know, we're not here to kind of fool you into thinking one thing or another. So I don't want you to think that. So with that in mind, let's move into the review, starting from the very beginning. The process in which we got it started. You have to set up an appointment, which was news to me, but I think it was really a good thing, in the sense that you knew what day your car was going to get worked on. You knew what day your shocks were going to get worked on. So you knew what day you had to send them in, and you knew what day you were going to get them back. You know, there wasn't any sending them in and then waiting, calling them, asking them if they're done yet. There wasn't any of that. You know, you had your day, that was your spot, and they tailored your shocks to you, to your car, to your driving style. And I think that's a pretty cool way of going about it. And the other thing was their customer service. And this isn't unique to us. You know, this isn't like because we're making this video they treated us any different. I was emailing back and forth with them a lot. And they were very cordial and responded to every single one of my emails in a very timely fashion. And if there was any confusion in the email, they called me and they were like, you know, it's easier to just be on the phone, you know, let's get this sorted out. They worked with us from the very beginning all the way to the very end to make sure that we were satisfied with the way the shocks were handling. They never left us out on our own. So I want to, this is a big shout out to Shock Therapy on that. They go out of their way to take care of you and to make sure that your shocks are set up properly. And even their shipping, you know, I mean, I was blown away at how well they were packaged. To see how they take the time to package them and make sure that your product is taken care of, you know, your shocks are taken care of. That was really exciting too. So into the review part. Right off the bat, I'm gonna say 10 out of 10. Would do again. Probably one of the best investments for these types of cars that I think you can make. One of the things that I noticed right off the bat in the very beginning, I don't want to take anything away from the stock suspension on the X3s, because I think that, you know, they're probably some of the best suspension that you can have on these cars, on a UTV at the moment. But the slow speed chop, you know, the chatter bumps on the stock suspension was just horrible. I honestly think that going at a higher speed was more comfortable in those cars than going slow, just because that slow speed chop was just so stinking annoying, and there was nothing you could do. There was no setting you could put those shocks on to make that go away. Going over the little teeny bumps just vibrated you, and it sucked. And aside from that, so they want your ride height to be at 16 inches, and I think the cars come at like 12 or 13, and the Fox recommendation is 15. So in any way you run your car, shock therapy wants you to be higher. And I was nervous about being up that high. It's mainly because of the amount of body roll and the control of the vehicle, because they have a very low center of gravity, and I like that, because you can really get into the turns, you know, and you just feel like the car's planted. So I was nervous that the car was going to be more boaty up there, especially with all of the shocks being as soft as they are. And there's no body roll. The valving in those shocks are awesome. The car always felt planted, even at 16-inch ride height, and having the slow speed compression barely turned on at all. There was like no boatiness to it at all, which was fantastic. And the whoops, I mean, that's what we hit today. So last year when we hit those whoops, I think, yeah, I mean, we struggled maybe to get 70 miles an hour. And today, I mean, I look down. I know you don't ever look.
I don't look down.
You don't look down. He's always. That's probably why I rolled, because I don't. Yeah.
I know another guy that always looked down at his speedo all the time, and he always knew exactly how fast he was going right before he crashed. So I like to keep my eyes forward and go as fast as I feel comfortable, and we were getting right with it today.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. So I did look down, and I saw that my speedometer was 85. Which, yeah, is a full 15 miles an hour faster than last year. And on top of the fact, last year at 70 miles an hour, those whoops were so violent that they knocked my goggles off. So in the last year's runs, I mean, obviously I only put, you know, the good clip in. You know, I didn't put the clip in where I was losing my goggles, because that's what, you know, you can't really sell.
You don't want to show that.
You can't sell that. But it knocked my goggles right off. And then today, just pedal to the metal, floating, just comfortable, man. I can't say enough. Like, I don't even think the video is really probably going to do it justice. We watched them right before we did this review, and it's pretty evident, it's pretty clear, you know, that the movement inside the cab is significantly less at higher speeds. So obviously, you know, there's a significant improvement there. But I don't think you're really going to get it, you know, unless you rode in it.
But even at slow speeds, I mean, it's different. Everything's different about the way the car handles now. It's even going half speed. It's not rough like it would be before. You either had to hit it hard and try to float over top of them. Now, I mean, I was slowing down on the backside of the whoop section, going half speed, and it was just so much smoother. Everything about the suspension is so much nicer than the stock suspension is. Turning, everything. Yeah, everything's nice.
Those whoops, or the bumps, not whoops so much, but the bumps and the turns. So actually, the whoops out there today, I think, are probably a little bit worse today than they were when we ran it the first time. Because when we ran it the first time, it was towards the end of the season. So there had, you know, riders have been beating on the whoops all year long. Today, they're fresh, man. They were wind whipped and weather ridden. They were pretty violent. Every turn that we went around out there was just up and down, and I noticed right away when we got out there, that first turn we hit that had the big ups and downs in it.
Yeah, it was like it was flat.
Right away, I was like, wait, I didn't even feel that.
Right.
You know, you're going into it and you think, you know, you kind of grab the wheel and you think you're going to slow down because you're just expecting something and just right over it.
Yeah. Your vision's playing games on you. You thought there was moguls there, and it must have been flat because you didn't feel anything.
No kidding. But yeah, and then what? There was that spot right at the back of the G-out section, or the whoop section, where you'd float over it. There was like a dip, and it came up, and there was like 2 little whoops, and then a dip again. Last year, when we would hit that, I was too afraid to hit that at any kind of speed, because once you hit the little dip, and then the second lip at the top would always feel like it wanted to kick the rear end up.
Yeah, your rear end would hit that, and it would like to nosedive you.
Yeah, I was actually too afraid to hit it today because I remembered that, but I watched him, and I know we got some good footage of it.
Wide open.
He just right over that thing.
It does the same thing. Your ass end still hits that lip, but it just flattens. The suspension reacts totally different now. It just flattens your car out. It just flattened me right out, and you know, went right over it. Didn't get goofy. Didn't.
Yeah.
I was white knuckling it the first time, and then after that, it was just fun. You know, so.
And that's the thing right there. That last phrase. It was just fun. So regardless of how you drive your car, regardless of if you're a high-speed driver, slow-speed driver, and it doesn't even matter. This isn't an X3 thing. You know, they do this type of stuff for Polaris. They do this stuff for Yamaha. It is worth it for everybody of all types, because just like he said, you know, there were some times where you hit stuff and you're just kind of afraid at how the car is going to react because it's kind of unpredictable. It is so predictable now that your confidence level goes up so high. It takes a lot of the anxiety out of doing like aggressive maneuvers, because the car just reacts to the terrain so much better. And I can't say enough about it. It is really, really something special. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Well, and we were doing this in the snow too. I know we beat the snow down quite a bit towards the end there, but at the beginning, the trails were, that whoop section was pretty slick, and
yeah,
it still handled really good. The traction wasn't quite there. We got higher speeds towards the end of the day, but it even felt better than today with it being slick like this than it did last year, with the trails being with no snow, with good conditions, with the stock suspension.
Yeah,
it felt better today.
So how's that? You know, last year completely dry conditions with stock suspension. Now completely frozen trails, just weather beaten, covered in snow, and we're still getting higher speeds and we're still more comfortable. I know a true comparison would be to go back out there, you know, and do it in the same condition, and maybe we will. You know, later on in the year, we're gonna be riding all year. Maybe we'll do another one.
We will.
But today, this would kind of conclude part 3 of our shock therapy experience. I truly hope that it was beneficial to you guys if you were considering something like this. I know, you know, in hindsight, this may have been the first mod that I would do, rather than probably one of the last. It's always nice to have more power, and you always have to make sure that your clutches are running right, but it's such a big difference that I would probably start here next time, had I known. And you are actually starting here, because
I am starting here, and that's the thing. You can have all the power in the world, but if you can't put it to the ground, there's no point. So
right.
I know you have quite a bit more horse than I do, at least for another couple weeks. But so I'm doing a little different than what Aaron did, and it's still going to work out the same.
Yeah.
But I can't wait to get some more horsepower in that thing and really let it eat. So
yeah. So yeah, I hope this was fun for you guys, because it was certainly fun for us. Huge thanks to Shock Therapy for dealing with all of my annoying emails. You guys were great. And if you have any questions about, you know, what they can do for you, by all means, shoot them an email. I'll put their contact information in the description below. But until next time, 3 weeks until Silver Lake opens, and you bet we're going to be there. So stay tuned, and we'll see you guys soon. See ya.
See ya.